What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast. And today, my friend, all the way from Colombia, beautiful Colombia, man. The women in Colombia, bro. Love them. I don't even want to go there. Is Dudley Edward. I know I'm not saying that correctly, but for stupid Americans, it's pronounced Dudley Edward. So hello, Dudley.
Hello, Gary. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited for this exchange, and nothing is off limits. Baby.
Love it. No, we'll go down some rabbit holes together, man. We'll find some fun shit to cover because your story's fascinating. So we won't have any trouble here. So real quick, I'm just going to introduce everybody. So guys, we have Dudley Edward. Dudley is a mindset coach and mentor, helping driven men who feel stuck break plateaus and refine identity. He's the founder of Modern Day Renaissance Men, a global mentorship and brotherhood built to help ambitious men reinvent themselves from the inside out. And man, we are so desperate for men. We're so desperate to help men. We're so desperate right now. The world's like, men are just completely fucked up. So, but before we get into all your good shit, Dudley, with the What If You Could podcast, so I ask all my guests, uh, Dudley Edward, what is your What If You Could?
That's a great question, Gary. What if you could get out of your own way, stop second guessing yourself, and allow yourself to step deeply inside of the version of yourself that you know is yearning to be expressed? I feel like most men, especially in my experience, personally building myself up and dealing with men from all over the world, different backgrounds, there is a need. Men are lost today. Men are seeking identity. And, in this modern day and age, what's more likely is men will go online seeking counsel. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is there's a lot of guys teaching material that are educating from only one perspective, one dimension. And I always talk about being a modern day Renaissance man, a man that sharpens every edge, a man that's eclectic. And so, what if we could express ourselves as men across all realms for us to, one, find deep fulfillment, self mastery, and ultimately serve from our core, from our authenticity? What if you could?
Love that, man. Love that, man. I love the two words out of all the things you said. The two words stick out so much is yearning and seeking. I think dudes are seeking hard. I mean, we were told back in the day with the feminism movement and the women's movement and all that stuff, which is awesome. Chicks, do whatever you want, man. We love you. I don't care what you do. Yet, men were kind of told, get more feminine, get feel your emotions, and all that shit's good. But I think it went way too far, right? The pendulum just swung way out of control, and men are seeking to find their animal, find their
Yeah.
man back, right?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of men are yearning to express their masculinity. Now, there's a perspective of traditional masculinity, and then there's these newer concepts of being fluid and all these things, right? But at our core, I always believe that we're brought here to serve. And oftentimes we can only truly serve once we've experienced. And in my experience, a lot of men have been held back or are holding themselves back, even if it's unbeknownst to them. And so we have an issue where men are looking to be able to be men, express themselves, but they're also getting information from so many different perspectives, which, to put it frank, I feel that as I mentioned earlier, one dimension. That makes sense, Gary?
Yeah. You know, you talk about in a lot of your videos and a lot of training, I like the words, it comes back to words again. Um, the world rewards bold, confident, and strategic men. You talk about being dynamic, you talk about attraction, effortless, mind, body, influence, the Swiss Army knife of men. And it really is a full body thing. I mean, you can't just chase one thing like I'm gonna be this and that's it. It just life doesn't work that way, right?
Exactly. You have to be dynamic, especially in a life now currently that is changing so rapidly. I mean, if you even look at where we were at 10 years ago in 2015, Gary, how different is life now from 2015?
Crazy. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And it's gotten worse for men. Hasn't gotten better for dudes. I mean, and this isn't knocking chicks. This is not knocking women. We're not. We talk about women all day long. We both love women, but it's like this is about men and what's happened over this last decade. And it started in the '60s, '70s, but it's really this last decade has kicked their ass. Dudes are lost. That's why I love that word seeking. I think people are finally seeking help.
Indeed. And part of this last decade and what's going on with men, I believe without a doubt, is technology. We're more isolated than ever, though, you know, we're more connected, right? And what's happening is men have an easiness and an ability to go to porn or these other avenues to get that sexual release, whereas previously it had to be earned. You had to go out and develop yourself as a man to get sexual access. And so there's an issue with that. And also, Gary, the thing that I've realized that men are really seeking, especially the driven men that I work with, they always tell me there's a lack of community, a sense of community with other ambitious men. Because guys that are driven these days are the outlier. It's so easy to dominate, so easy to beat other guys when the average populace are lackluster. They're weak. Their mentalities, they can't even focus. They can't even control and discipline themselves. So there's this deep yearning for brotherhood, as well as I mentioned earlier, being able to express that masculinity through service and being dynamic as a man.
I love that. And it comes down a lot to exposure, right? I mean, dudes just aren't exposed. There's been so much just bullshit information out there. We're just like you said, you know, we're so inundated with information, but we're the least educated we've ever been, right? Because we don't seek it, it just comes and pours into our brain. So the exposure is just like it needs to be focused like a magnifying glass instead of just blown out, right? I think that's what you're working on is trying to expose these guys to more what it's like, right? Is that, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to expose guys to more.
Yeah, indeed, because we're more distracted than ever. We have infinite amount of information accessible to us at the palm of our hands, access to so many different opinions. And what happens is a lot of men are fragmented, right? And so when they want to get help, of course, they go to YouTube. And these days, everybody has a platform and a microphone, right? And I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, but the truth is, a lot of people have platforms that are not seasoned or that are not equipped to be talking about certain topics. In my case, I like to only talk about things that I know and things that I'm educated on and have experience, as opposed to people these days who are performing, who are teaching things rather to go viral and obviously get paid. And I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle, but we have to be able to think of, hey, if I have a platform of 20,000, 100,000, we have a duty and a responsibility to lead and guide effectively. And so a lot of men these days are being led down whatever path, whether that is this area of YouTube, social media, or whatever. And I believe that's causing a lot more damage.
Yeah, it's funny because you talk to people and they're experts on something, and then you say, "Well, have you ever left Chicago?" Have you ever been out of Illinois or Pacoima or Wisconsin or whatever, right? They're like, yeah, I don't need to. I'm on the internet, whatever. But see, you're out there. Shit, dude, you've traveled all over the world. You've experienced cultures, other people. How many languages do you speak?
So currently, fluently, I say five, but conversational seven.
Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about with exposure, right? I mean, we're locked in this little bubble, a lot of people, myself included. I used to travel a lot, but you're locked in this little bubble, right? So it's so easy to think you're right about shit. And then you get out there and get kicked in the nuts a couple times and get spacked in the face a couple times. You go, holy shit. Like all these kids screaming about, yeah, I want to be a communist and all that. I go fucking live in a communist country for a little bit, bro. And you come back and tell me if you like it, right? It's exposure and you're out there getting it. You're soaking it up and sharing it. And that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and first and foremost, thank you for that. And secondly, it comes out in the way that I present myself, the content and material, because I have a very eclectic background. I know for me, when people see me, right, I'm a tall, fit black guy, and yes, I was an athlete. And there's this perception, okay, this guy is just an athlete or a jock, got that through college and high school. But when people hear me speak, they can tell, okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about that. And it's because I've had all of these unique experiences with so many different people, whether it was in Iceland and I'm with literal Vikings, whether I'm in Italy, whether I'm in the middle of the jungle with the Quechua tribe in South America. So being exposed to all these different ways of thinking, philosophies, and people, it really makes you a dynamic person. It really gives you a deep respect and understanding and love for humanity. And so when I am teaching master classes or I'm teaching my gentlemen on something, it's this holistic approach and perspective too, whether that's dating or whether that's business, as opposed to just this narrow perspective of somebody, as you mentioned, who has only been in Chicago. Well, I've done business all over the world, so I can speak about these things. And if I'm never educated on a topic, what I like to do is bring in one of my associates to speak to my gentleman that is, and he's from, who knows, like Uganda, Africa, or you know.
First off, Vikings are badass. Let's just get that out right there. Vikings are some badass mofos, man. Love Vikings, man. Um, and I think it comes down to a lot of the stuff that you're talking about in your training with the brotherhood. It's like, look, man, I know a lot of shit, but I may not be on the expert on what you're feeling or what you're looking for. But I've got my brother over here in the brotherhood who does, and we're bringing this together. And so we can give you even more exposure. Like one guy can only expose you to so much. I don't give a shit who you are. Tony Robbins, I don't care who you are, right? Because there's different levels of exposure for what people are seeking. Love that word seeking, man. But the power that you talk about a lot, I love that. Like you said, you walk into a room and you own the room. And it's not bloviating, it's not bullshit, it's not machoism. It's just people go, that dude that dude knows something, or that guy's, you know what I mean? You can feel it. Anybody who's seen a dude walk in a room and ever goes, I want to know about that guy, or I'm afraid as fuck of that guy. I don't even want to go talk to that guy, right? Because they feel the power. It's a whole different sensation.
Yeah, it's a certain frequency that a man who is self-actualized emits. And it's a man that has done the work, that has faced himself, and that is continuously facing himself and committed to that process for life. In this modern day and age, especially with millennials, and Gen Zers, so big on social media, seeing the end product, seeing the highlights. It's easy to posture and to perform and to curate your image online. But when you're in the presence of somebody who is actually deeply rooted and comfortable with himself and in his purpose, that energy is magnetic. It's a force. It's it's something that can be felt and sliced in the air. And that's the anomaly. That's abnormal. Not many men are walking around like that.
And it's funny because you, like you said, you're a 6'5" black dude who's in really good shape. So heads are going to turn anyways. But you got to have something to back that up. Like one of my best friends is a 5'6" white dude like me who was old and not a big dude, but he had magnetism. He had this thing about him. And he was a world traveler. He knew shit, right? And he wasn't allowed to, but he walked in and people would just go, who's that dude? You know? And if you went up to talk to him thinking that he was just he didn't know his shit, you were in big trouble because you would immediately want to walk away. And he wasn't bragging or he didn't wasn't trying to be a brainiac. It was just that don't come to someone thinking one thing, right? Like don't judge Dudley. Don't walk up to Dudley and judge Dudley, right? Until you've talked to Dudley. And that's why I think you're bringing that to dudes, and I love that confidence.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to add on to that because that's a very important talking point today. I come across so many men who have this victim mentality. I hate that shit. The guys who are like, oh, well, Dudley, you don't understand. It's easy for you to say, I'm 5'5", I'm 5'6", I'm 5'6". Look, I have friends. For example, I've got a friend, Matt, 5'6", white Canadian guy. Yes, he's buff, okay? The guy is disciplined, but the guy is extremely intelligent, great personality, charisma, always has a beautiful model on his arm. The guy is just he puts in the work and he has a certain presence to him. Doesn't matter how tall you are, if you're bald, what you're insecure. Listen, dealing with men, I hear it all. Okay. I'm bald, you don't understand, I'm fat. So get off your ass and actually maximize your character.
Because hey, we live in the world of victimhood, dude. I mean, we literally people that's their mask. That's their excuse. That's become their DNA as I'm a fucking victim. Oh, you don't know you don't know my story. It's like bullshit. Listen to Dudley's fucking story, man. You want to hear a story? Listen to Dudley, the immigrant, fucking, up, down, backwards, sideways, right, brother? I mean, it's like don't give me that shit. I don't even want to hear your story, dude. I want you to come back to me and tell me how you're going to overcome your story. Because otherwise, the rest is boring bullshit. I don't even want to listen to it.
Everybody has a story, and this is why I look. I put it all out. I put the most intimate parts of my life out there. Look, I was touched as a kid and molested. I had stutter, so the fact that I'm a public speaker by trade is ridiculous, right? I was bounced around from home to home, got teased. You know, I was the African kid that they teased. Whatever little chip you want to say, nobody fucking cares. Are you going to produce? What are you going to leave? What's your legacy as a man? There is lacking in manhood these days. There's a lack of honor, integrity, and that shit infuriates me.
Yeah. It's I talk about it all the time because I've had it in my bathroom for about 30 years, ever since it came out. When Nelson Mandela became president, he did a speech, and basically the speech is called "Your Being Small Doesn't Serve the World." And he goes on to say, "Hey man, God didn't create you to be small. God didn't create you. Don't hide so that others feel better around you. No, no, no. You've got to rise. You've got to be powerful. You've got to show that you can lead. People, don't hide. Don't be small. Being small doesn't serve the world." And I fucking love that speech, man. I read it all the time. I had my kids read it because being small, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm Dudley, I'm successful, I'm 6'5", I'm handsome, I'm buff, I don't want to intimidate anybody, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. It's like bullshit. You go walking in there like a fucking lion, baby. Like, right? Because that will help people. That will help people.
Yeah, absolutely well said. And I always like to say that there's too many of us walking too lightly on this earth, tiptoeing, not being. You know what's funny about me, and I always say this candidly in many videos, there's nobody that will ever be as insecure as I used to or be more insecure. I was extremely insecure and I lived in my mind. I like to say mental purgatory. I lived in mental abyss because I was a prisoner in my own mind. And so I always had these desires of grandeur. I wanted to lead. I've always wanted to counsel since I was a kid, even when I couldn't speak and had to stutter and everything, right? And it took me a lot of pain and suffering to mold myself and free myself from the own shackles of my own mind to be where I'm at now. And even this current version that's talking to you right now, Gary, I'm going to have to kill this version of myself to be the man that I'll be in 12 months from now. It's a never ending process of self molding. And so when I hear guys give these excuses, I'm like, you have no chance in the jungle at all.
You know, you think of it as a snake. A snake cannot grow unless he sheds a skin. You know, he's just going to be a fucking little worm this entire life unless he keeps shedding that skin, right? So he can grow and grow and get new skin and new skin and get bigger and get more powerful. Otherwise, you just ain't going to grow. So you've got to shed. And I think that's why I love what you're doing is that you're challenging men to be better, but you're not in their face that they're not good enough. You're showing that it feels good to be dynamic. It feels good to be the loving husband. You know, take care of your wife, take care of your family, be responsible, be the leader. This toxic masculinity bullshit has just killed dudes, right? It's like crazy.
Ah, toxic masculine.
What a bullshit phrase, right?
Yeah. Guys don't know what to do with because yes, men are being beat down. And look, I'm always very candid and I talk to all different types of men and I tell them, hey, look, whatever lifestyle you get, it's fantastic to be a loving husband and father. I'm not one of these guys that's telling you that you have to go fuck 50 women or whatever. I'm honest, I do date several women, but that's the season I'm in. I never say, hey, this is what you should do. No, I'm being candid. But yes, I want a family. And yes, so just being able to show guys, hey, look, it's okay to want what you want, but you have to be who you truly are in your authenticity and stop listening to all these guys that's telling you this, stop listening to society telling you that. And because I have so many experiences in different societies, I can talk to men from all types of different societies. And I believe that gives me an advantage because, sometimes guys will watch a certain creator and that creator has this one perspective. And so they say, okay, well, I can learn from this guy. But when it's a one-stop shop and you can learn all these different things from my eclectic experiences, it really helps somebody really mold themselves a complete man. And that's why when I created my company, I was very intentional with how I would word it. Modern day Renaissance man. What does the word Renaissance mean? It means to rebirth. You know, you said a beautiful thing about the snake shedding its skin. As you were saying that the story of the bald eagle showed up in my head at around 45 years, 50 years. The bald eagle has a decision to make. It either has to break its beak to grow a new one, or it's going to die because the beak grows into its neck. So we constantly have to refine ourselves as men. The work never ends. And I love the hustle, Gary. I love the fight. I love war.
You know, there's something about masculinity. It's like women have become more masculine than men. You know, and I like that you mentioned the mind, body, and social influence. Like you're in good shape. You want people to be in good shape, right? Take care of their mind, take care of their body. And you look at dudes, it's like, dude, you don't even have a drop of testosterone in your body, right? Now, I'm not blaming you or I'm not making you feel bad about it, but we can take steps to help reverse that. And once we do, you'll start feeling that line again. You know, you'll start feeling that again. You know, if you're if you're a gay man and you look at another man and it turns you on, whatever. But if you're a dude and you look at a woman and it you don't feel something, you need to step back. And look, I'm married, right? I'm in my second marriage. I tell my wife all the time, look at her. She's got a great ass. My wife goes, yeah, she must do a lot of squats, because we're confident in our relationship, right? She knows I'm not going to go hit this chick, but I'm confident to go, damn, she looks good in that. I go, you'd look good in that, right? So it's like, you have to know that it is okay to be a man, right? Like you
Yeah,
said, doesn't mean you're gonna go out and fuck 50 chicks, but
yeah.
you have to know it's okay to be a man. Don't worry about offending everybody. It doesn't matter what you say anymore, you're gonna fucking offend somebody, right?
Talk to them, Gary. Talk to them. And now you're preaching. You just touched on something very important. It's okay to not be liked by everybody. You know, I put out material out there for hundreds of thousands of people to see, and I get the hate comments and whatever. And a lot of guys that join my mentorship, they say, Dud, I would love to move into coaching, leadership, and something like what you're doing. But I always get in my head about posting a video because what if this person sees it? What if that person sees it? One of the signs of high testosterone is you not giving a fuck what anybody thinks about you. And the reason why people fear this confrontation, it's actually something deeply rooted in our biology and history. You know, Previously, if you had an opposing view, it meant that you had to defend that to the death. It was a contrarian thought. And so you would get outcasted or you would die, you would get exiled. And so it's embedded in us just to go with the flow, just to be average, just to not do too much. Nah, fuck that. Listen, when I die, I need my name to echo in the hallways of the greats for all eternity. That's the kind of mentality I have. And I always tell guys, look, if you want to go watch all these other bullshit creators that's going to teach you about body game and look maxing, go. But if you want to embark on a journey of deep self mastery as a man, this is the right place for you. And so, yeah, brother.
I love that, man. I love that because you're being small does not serve the world. I mean, you've got to step up. You've got to step up and we cleared this earlier, but it's like politics today in this world. It's like people are so dug in. Like I got to be this way and dye my hair purple and wear nose rings and I gotta fight for this shit and that shit, or on this side I gotta have my Confederate flag tattoo. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you guys are so lost in the bullshit, right? You're so mired and so buried in the bullshit that you can't even see the picture. You can't, you're just lost in the shit. So if you're going to be that Renaissance man, dude, you've got to get above the shit, right? The noise that's out there.
Open your mind. Gary, man, this is a higher frequency exchange and conversation, and this is what I live for. To add on to what you just said, do you want to know or do you already know what a clear sign or an obvious sign that somebody lacks intelligence is?
I think it's the ability to not look at other sides of the coin and change their mind if they see evidence that will reflect the truth.
Yes. And also, if you can't even listen to an opposing view, especially as a man, since we're talking about men, without getting wrapped up in your emotions and letting your emotions steer your actions. If you cannot have an intellectual exchange with somebody that disagrees from you, you see, all I do is talk to people from different backgrounds, cultures. They have different beliefs than me. I love it. It educates me, even if we don't agree, right? I respect them for sharing their sentiments, and we both become edified from the exchange. People these days, and a lot of men can't even listen to somebody else's opinion without getting overly fervent and passionate and getting angry. That's a lack of intelligence.
Think about the great warriors, man. Think about some of these great leaders, some of the Caesars, Marcus Aurelius, or some of
Mhm.
the gladiators back in the day, right? and they're going and they're fucking just stabbing dudes and using swords, cutting their fucking heads off. I mean, there's a battle, right? You're in battle. And some dude comes up and says, you know, I don't know. They seemed really nice. I don't know if I want to cut their head off and just cut their balls off and shove them in their mouths. It's like, dude, I'm just going to kill you, right? Emotions cannot be involved in war. Emotions cannot be involved in making decisions. And emotions cannot be involved in running your family, running your business, right? If you, you just nailed it with the emotion thing, man. Emotions have taken over American society. I don't know about the rest of the world, but it's like, dude, if you don't pull your head out of your ass with all this emotional bullshit and start focusing on facts, then you're fucked, bro. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you, man.
Man, and being honest, so I do have a home base in Florida. But the reason I spend most of my time abroad is because I just cannot live in Western society. And being being all over the world, the unfortunate thing is, man, American culture is dominant. Okay. And it
Yeah.
permeates into all these other different societies, and people are adopting those ways of thinking. But you nailed it on the head. Emotions, Gary, is really a word that we created to describe the conscious awareness of our frequency, our state. Now, that's not a bad thing. We are sentient beings, so we can be aware of how we feel. Say, okay, well, today I feel this, or maybe that's an indicator that I've got to do more work in this area. But when you get enveloped in your emotions as a man, you cannot be the head of a household. You cannot lead effectively. Your children can't look up to you. And I really think we need to discuss this more as men. Fuck the money, fuck all this other stuff. You can get that stuff, but you have to control yourself as your base, at the bedrock of who you are as a man. And these days, emotional men are running rampant. No, it's not. It's not okay to just feel all the time and go, no, fuck that. We have duty as men. I do things I don't want to do every day. I do martial arts. I get kicked and punched. I didn't want to do that. I was scared walking into the gym, but I knew the best version of me was a man who knew how to defend himself. And so guess what? We eat shit so that we can serve. Okay? That's just how it is.
Yeah, yeah. And I love your mindset about it. It's not like bravado, right? It's not like I'm a badass. I come in, I'm a bad. It's like no, 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 man. It's that quiet confidence. It's that right? You know that when you walk in, who and what you are. You don't have to prove shit to anybody. You're not there trying to prove anything. It's in your DNA, it's in your soul. You know who and what you are, right? I don't got to prove shit to anybody. And people pick up on that, especially here in America because it's so rare. I mean, a dude who walks in who has a self-awareness, you go, I'm gonna talk. I want to go. I'm gonna go talk to that dude because there's 1,000 people in this room. He's the only fucker in here I want to talk to, right? And you feel it, right? Because it's in here. You don't got to put it out there.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier briefly, there's a lot of posturing these days and a lot of performance. And the reason I'm able to speak to my gentlemen the way that I do is because, look, I'm no different. I used to posture, I used to play the game, and I used to be a fraction of the man that I knew that I could be. And I used to go with what society taught me was a man and all these things. But man, the beauty of a man discovering who he truly is, my God, is it's amazing. And that presence, that magnetic executive presence that a man acquires and builds through fortifying himself, through doing the dirty work that's not sexy. You see, they want the end product, Gary. They don't see that the mundane work, it's not sexy. But doing that work and those minute decisions that we have every single day, am I going to be a bitch today, Gary, or am I going to go in the direction that I know that I got to go? And so when you defeat yourself and you dominate yourself for years as a man, and nobody has to know, it's between you and you. It's 7:37 p.m. at night one night, and you said you were going to do this one thing. Oh well, I could do it listen, are you going to do it now or not? If you do it, the respect increases. If you don't, the confidence goes down. So when you walk in the room, there's a discrepancy in identity, Gary. And so this is what a lot of men are dealing with. The desire for grandeur, but there's a discrepancy because they betray themselves on the daily. And so they have fragmented identities.
And there's nothing worse than losing respect for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if your kids don't respect you, it's like, yeah, fuck you, little brat. Your wife doesn't respect you, I'll just find another chick. But when you do not respect yourself, ah, brother, that's when you're just like, dude, that's when you've hit bottom, you know? And if you don't see it, it's even worse. If you don't see the fact, if you don't listen to Dudley and go, the dude's right, man. I've lost respect for myself, then we just might have to move on and find someone else to help. Because, brother, yeah, you losing respect for yourself is about as tough as it gets, man.
Absolutely. And I'm a very loving, caring, and understanding man, a very caring person. That's just how I grew up in my culture as a Haitian. Very loving, but there's this dark side to me too. I'm very gritty, blunt, especially when I'm talking to men. I'll be kinder to women because I respect women tremendously. But when I'm talking to another man, yes, I'm gonna have that love, Gary. But at the end of the day, you're a fucking man. You have to earn your manhood. And if I could do it, and if I'm doing it every single day, you have no excuse. Otherwise, hand in your balls, hand hand your testicles over.
Dude, I heard of losing my man card. But brother, you just fucking lost your ball card, all right? If you're not gonna
Hand
use
them
them,
in.
give them
Revolt.
to someone else.
Revolt.
It's like what I used to tell my boys, I go, there's a difference between love, tough love, corrective criticism, and just being an asshole, right? Or a bully, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I'm talking to you about something that I saw that you do, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to beat you. I'm not scream at you. We're going to use this as a learning process, right? You go, Dad, I'm going to go up on the roof and pick that branch. I'm going, dude, if you go up on that roof and reach for that branch, you're going to fall off and break your fucking arm, right? But if you want to go up and do it, you do it, all right? So he falls off the roof, breaks his arm, comes to me screaming and crying. I'm like, what did we talk about? See, there's consequences to shit. Don't do stupid shit or you're going to get stupid results, right? I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. We're going to take you to the doctor. We're going to fix your arm. Next time when you ask me about something, I say, perhaps you should look at a different option. I'm not being a dick, right? We're just talking this out. So there's love and there's tough love. When you talk to these guys and go, bro, you got two options: turn in your balls, because I got guys who'll take them, right? Or start looking at some of the things I'm talking about without your ego, right? Take your fucking ego out of this. I'm not trying to beat you up or make you emasculate or anything. What I'm trying to do is I love you as a man and I want you to come with me in the brotherhood.
1,000%. And touching on the ego topic, I work with execs, founder, everybody from the average Joe, the guy that's just working in corporate, the guy that has his own business, the guy that's trading. And these men have this ambition. They have the drive. And driven men, especially accomplished men, have big egos. And the first thing that I tell these guys when I'm screening them, when they apply is, hey, look, are you coachable? Because I don't care how much money you make. We've got guys in here making millions. We've got guys in here making, whatever. But you're coming here to fortify yourself. You have to drop the ego and learn. Because it doesn't matter what level we get to, Gary, somebody always knows more than us. And so we have to be coachable. I myself, as a mentor to dozens and dozens of men all over the world, I've got mentors that I shut the fuck up and I listen to them. And I seek their wisdom and I seek their counsel. Always have to be able to learn and know how to be meek as gentlemen. And if you can keep this balance of, yes, I'm a leader, of course, we have pride and ego as men, but you have to know how to control yourself. If you can't control yourself, that makes us all different than an animal. And so once we learn how to control ourselves and always be able to learn and evolve, You're gonna have a beautiful life, Gary.
Yeah. I always love the saying, if you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in that room, walk out of the fucking room and find a different room, right? Because you're not going to learn shit in that room. And I think so. So that being said, walk me through the Renaissance man. Walk me through the modern day Renaissance men. Tell me how that works. What you're doing with the brotherhood, the mentorship. Walk me through that. What's this all about?
Yeah, brother, great question. So modern day Renaissance man is a 3 month mentorship. It's predicated on shifting identity and mindset. Now, it is a comprehensive program. So we talk about different topics from, as I mentioned, mindset to communication, how to be a great orator, how to be a cultured man, a global man, how to understand how to deal with different types of people. And this serves our gentlemen in business. A lot of guys, they don't know how to communicate to different demographics of people. We dive into deeper self mastery. We dive into sexual health, penile health, vitamins. We even have a herbs class where we teach them how to heal themselves. We're all over the world. We dive into how to lead a woman, how to get a woman's loyalty. We dive into a holistic approach of how to deal with the feminine and the divine masculine. And then we dive into the Renaissance, which is what we focus on how to heal your inner child. You see, if a gentleman comes to me and he's 40, he's 50, I have gentlemen who are 60, and they have a fragmented identity. What that means is their paradigm has been conditioned this way for 50, 60, 40, 30, however old they are, years. And so we have to do some inner cleaning of their psyche. And this takes deep work. And so this is a complete transformational program as a man across all realms of being a man. In conjunction with this, we have a yearly mastermind event all over the world where we come in fellowship, we educate ourselves, but we also have fun and we enjoy life. So this is a family, it's a brotherhood, and it's really all about as a man in a world with so many distractions and life pulling you in so many different directions. How can we find community and step into deeper self mastery?
Ooh, I love all that, man. I mean, the whole mind, body, spirit, sexuality. Um, I love all that. You know, because you can't leave any of it out. I mean, it boggles my mind when you talk to people who talk about leadership or empowerment and don't want to touch sex. It's like, dude, I don't give a shit if you're gay, straight, trans. I don't give a shit what you are. If you're at your peak and you are functioning on all cylinders as a man, dude, you've got sexual urges. You just do. I don't give a shit. Now, if you're fortunate to be with a partner who can match all that, who can match that energy, great. If you're not and you're out there dating multiple chicks looking for that one that matches that energy, um, all good. But I mean, you're really touching on the whole human, the whole body, mind experience. That's wicked, brother. That's awesome.
And thank you for that, brother. And I'm just very humbled and I'm honored to be doing this at the age that I'm at now because I don't see a lot of guys younger than 35 really talking about these things. It's all ego. It's all, like it's a dick measuring contest. Do I have the Lamborghini? Do I have all these things? One of my concerns is where societies are heading with all this garbage that is being portrayed. And I wanted to, I felt like I had to step up. Despite the hate comments or whatever, I had to step up and just share from my authenticity the healing that I've been able to do and the healing I'm still doing and be able to help other gentlemen understand like, look, once you get the money, it's not going to be enough. You have to move into deeper mastery and find fulfillment. And to touch on sexuality, Gary, a man that is sexually deprived and a man that is unable to truly express himself sexually freely with no limits, this is going to cap him in business, interpersonal relationships, his confidence, how he shows up in the world. sexuality is extremely important for men. And not from the cocky ego perspective, but I mean you being able to express yourself, all your desires in a safe space with a woman that you feel comfortable doing that with, and you be the both of you or three of you, whatever you're into, being able to share those experiences, it's liberating, it frees you, it makes you live with a light heart, and you're able to fuck life the same way that you fuck your girl. And I don't believe a lot of us, enough of us, are talking about that at all.
It's called the life force. You
Mhm.
have a life force that you're born with as a man at your core. Women too. Women are sexual beings, man. Fuck, you find the right gal, and dude, you got to go to the doctor the next day to get you tore your skin off your body. I mean, you get that right connection of passion, right, together. Now, imagine taking that life force from the bedroom into the boardroom or into the work world. And you've got this power, right? It's just like this fucking little nuclear reactor in your body. It's in your balls, right? That just is pumping. Now, when you take that into the world, trust me, chicks will turn their heads like, he hasn't even said nothing yet. He's not even good looking. He's fucking short, old, and ugly, but damn, there's something radiating from that guy, right? Either he's got a 12-inch dick or he just knows what to do. But you know what I'm saying? It's that life force. And it's just it's true. If you're not talking about sexuality, if you're not talking about that power, then you're missing a huge part. It's like what Tony Montano, my good buddy Tony Montano says. First you get the power, then you get the money, then you get the women. All right. So you're
True.
building the power in these brotherhoods. You're building the power for them to free themselves from the shit. And I love the word you said. You get in that safe space, right? You have to feel safe, even as a dude. You have to have
Mhm.
feel safe to open it up, right?
Man. I love where we're going. Absolutely. Because you know that there's a lot of pressure on us guys. As you said, you gotta have a 12-inch cock, you gotta be 6'10, you gotta do all these things. You have to make her come, or you're just, you're the biggest piece of shit in the world. You know, you being able to have because most sex is really surface level. Very seldom are we able to actually have a sexual experience that is, I mean, absolutely amazing. Something that I like to practice is when I'm with my woman, I'm present throughout the whole experience. But I understand the power of sex, right? I'm a very spiritual man. And as I'm about to climax, as we're climaxing, I'll think about my biggest goal. So I climax to my goal. And this is like sexual manifestation. I learned this probably in 2018. And it is potent. It's it's powerful doing that. And so I I'm to the point where yes, I'm getting to know a couple of women, but I'm not just with anybody. I've got a screening process before I even lay down, right? Because I'm very big on my energy. And when I do embark on a sexual journey with a woman, it's not just to have sex. Like it's a vehicle to really connect the both of us together, to explore, to heal. And these are things that you just don't hear men talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a very double-edged, wicked sword because there's something about money, power, celebrity that people are drawn to, right? Like you could be the ugliest fucker in the world, but if you're up there speaking, or if you're a wealthy dude, or you've got a power, right? People are drawn to that. And so it's dangerous. That's why you see all these celebrities get in trouble. Dude, you see that one dude, I don't remember his name, but he's banged everyone in Hollywood. The Kardashians. Who is that one guy? He's like a comedian. I'm like, dude, you're the ugliest fucker I've ever seen in my life. And you've banged every hot chick in Hollywood, right? So you got something going, but it's that weird. So you have to be careful. And I'm sure you talk about this with your brothers, is that once you once you reach, once you're feeling that power and once this is coming out of you, you have to know how to use it, right? Like Yoda says, with with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And to add on that, because you're 100% spot on the money. Yes, status has always been important, especially in the eyes of women. I'll tell you a quick story. So I've been dating my girl now for 4 months. Now we have great sex. It's amazing that we connect. It's great. I had a mastermind event here 3.5 weeks ago by gentlemen flew in from all over the world, the Congo, Africa, Argentina, you name it. When my woman saw me presenting and educating my gentleman and teaching and standing up there, that night, I've never been fucked like that in my life. He told me, she told me, oh my gosh, I knew what you did for work. I knew how important it was to you. But seeing you up there speaking was so sexy. She fucked my brains out.
I've known a dude for a long time. I'm a real estate broker by trade. I've been in real estate 35 years, and I've always believed in coaching. I've had a coach in everything I've ever done, and I do coaching. And so I went to this real estate trainer like before I got my real estate license, right? And this dude, he would just tell stories. He's old. He is not a good looking man, right? But he's up there speaking in front of 5,000 people. And he goes, these young girls would walk up and give me a hug and drop their hotel room key in my pocket. He goes, he goes, I couldn't, because they saw that, if you're up there and you've got 100 people in your hands, 1,000 people, 5,000 people in your hands. It's a powerful thing, and people feel it, right? People feel that power, and that's what you're teaching the brothers in the brotherhood to understand is, dude, it's that quiet confidence, man. It's that power. You don't have to project shit. It's just there, right?
1,000%. We don't have to posture. We don't have to perform, Gary. All we have to do is be our authentic self. And so long as we can do the dirty work behind the scenes in our privacy, when we show up in public because we've done the work, that energy is going to be felt. That's the secret. There is no secret. Just do the work behind closed doors so that when you walk out in public, you're actually the man. So then you don't have to act like you're the man.
Yeah, I love how you talk about that because you see people who are they were like an overnight sensation. It's like, oh, dude, just showed up out of nowhere. He's fucking awesome. And you go, you have no idea how much work that person put in and the years and the grinding, right? He just happened to have finally made it. He didn't quit right before he got there like so many people do. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation, man. It takes work.
1,000%. And people only see the end product, right? They only see where you're at now. I had a gentleman last week tell me, he said, Dudley, I see you driving these cars. I see you with these ladies. I see you in all these different countries. I've got to be honest. I envy you. And I said, brother, why would you envy me? You don't even know anything about my story and what I had to do here. Now, you can find inspiration, but you shouldn't envy anybody.
Yeah, because there is a difference between envy and inspiration. Envy is not a healthy feeling, right? But being inspired by somebody is. If you're willing to listen and accept and walk that walk. And I mean, I love what you're doing. And I think the 25 to 35 year olds in America is a lost generation. Those poor fuckers are just lost. If you're a 25 to 35-year-old dude in the United States of America, yeah, man, you need to contact Dudley and get in the brotherhood, right? Because don't you see that gap just like really suffering right now?
Yes, 1,000%. And I have to say this, Gary, one of the main things that's lacking amongst us men these days is class and elegance. We don't know how to conduct ourselves like gentlemen, how to speak. Look, I grew up in the hood. English is not my first language. I know how to speak all types of dialects of English, all type of dialects of Spanish, whatever. But you have to know how to conduct yourself as a professional. That's one. You have to have a certain class. You have to know how to present yourself. That's paramount. And so what I'm seeing is now we've lost class. We've lost this grace as men. Masculinity is not just being this rough guy. No, masculinity can be a man that's elegant, a man that has class, a man that has sophistication. And what I work on doing is showing these guys it's okay to put on a suit again. It's okay to be a classic guy, a masculine man, and be able to have all these different things going on for yourself, but you present yourself like a gentleman. One day I'm in the grittiest martial art dojo in Colombia. The next day I'm in a higher end area with a suit on. You can be dynamic.
Yeah, see, that's I love that. And I love your before and after pictures on your website where you say, here's what the dude looked like before he got in the Brotherhood, and this is what he looks like now. It's better, right? But it's like these so many people, I don't care how old you are, have a uniform, right? It's like I'm a hippie, so I dress like this, or I'm a millennial, so I dress like this, or I'm a total libtard, I dress like this, or I'm a radical feminist, so I have to look, I have to have the nose ring, the purple hair, and be screaming all the time. It's like there's a uniform, but you know what? There's not. There's classic elegance. There's a classic way to carry yourself. It's like funny. We went to a I met my current wife during COVID, so we never really went out, right? So we went to a charity event. She talked me into going, and we're at a group of people. And when we got home, she said, I sat there and watched you eat. And I go, babe, you see me fucking eat every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. And she's like, no, no, no. She goes, we were at a table of 10 people. And I looked around and watched how everybody ate. And I was watching you eat. I'm like, where are you going with this? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, did I put soup on my tie? She goes, no, it's the exact opposite. You ate very elegantly. I haven't seen someone eat like that. The way you held the fork, the way you held the knife, the way you cut the meat, the way she said it was just, it just stood out. And I said, well, thank you. But I've eaten like that forever, right? But I mean, those little things like that, right, Dudley? They get noticed and they make a difference.
They really do. Because, you know, growing up in the culture I did too, Asian culture is like very big on how you present yourself, what kind of shoes you wear, how do you pick up the fork. It's very meticulous, and I just grew up with these concepts embedded in my head. And something as small as that would be overlooked by the masses. Gary, I've been in some rooms with some higher level guys, and they notice these fine details. And life is really about fine details. And I feel that the millennials, even some older gentlemen who I've worked with that were in their 50s, they lack, or they're unaware, or they simply don't care about these fine details. And as men, especially when we're in these roles of leadership, we have to care about these things.
Yeah. They matter, and if you've got a table of people and you see the different people, how they handle themselves, if you're someone who's hiring or an investor or a venture capitalist or someone who is looking for someone that they want to get involved with or even join your organization, you look at that and you go, that's not the dude I want to be with. That's not the dude I want to emulate. That's not the dude I want to give money to. That's not the guy I want to back. And then you look at that other guy, see that guy isn't saying shit, but I could just watch him, right? And that's the guy that I want to get involved with.
Yes, and that's precisely why. So I'm a little bit different, right? You have guys in this male self improvement space who look like me or don't like me, and they might speak one way, right? For me, I'm very meticulous with how I speak. There's videos where I'm in different energy. I'm a person like a sailor. I say any and every type of word because that's a real facet of who I am. And then there's other videos where I speak so eloquently, you wonder where is this guy from? And so I do this because that's literally who I am. I'm a product of all these environments that I've lived in. But whether I'm cursing somebody out in a video because I'm legitimately angry that day, I always finish it off with some type of grace because I want gentlemen to understand that, look, I just cursed you off for 20 minutes, but at the end of the day, we're still gentlemen. We're still gentlemen.
Well, I watched a bunch of your videos, man. Your shit's really good. So I was watching this one and I'm into it and you're going on, man, and you're deep into it. And then you burp. And then you go, sorry about that, and just kept going. And it's like, now he could have edited that out, or he could have said something. Said, "Fuck no," he burped. Big deal. He took a drink. But he was, you were on fire, and it came out. Hey, we fart, we burp, whatever. But you were being 100% real. I go, I fucking love that, man. He didn't like, oh my god, hey, sorry. It's like, I fucking burp. It's a human thing. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Yeah,
just kept going. I go, that was fucking awesome.
thank you, man. I'm very conscious of that. I'll go from speaking Chinese to French to Creole. I'll burp, and then it's just I'm giving you all of me. That's literally I'm a real human being. I'm not perfect.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Dudley, man, we've gone over the hour. It's just blazing. You're amazing. So I lied earlier because I'm a dude. We lie. I said I had one question, but I actually have two questions. So here's my last question for you, brother, before we go off. So if there's something that really means something to Dudley, and he's like, man, this is something I live by, or I gotta share. This is something I want people to know about whatever. I don't give a shit what it is. But if there's something you'd like to leave us with, a last thought, what would that last thought be?
That's a great question. I would say don't allow yourself to fall into victimhood as a man. I had every card stacked against me from my family immigrating from the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, me being stuck in between multiple worlds of not being African enough, not being African American enough, not being this, not being that, me being touched as a kid that really destroyed my psychological makeup, me not having stability, bouncing from home to home, having a stutter. Look, nobody cares about my story. Nobody cares about your story until you become a man worthy of listening to. So do not fall into the trap of being a victim. Do the work. Put your head down and do the work. Aggrandize yourself. Because it's only through that self-aggrandizement, fortifying yourself, find true freedom. And freedom, I believe, as a man, is only found through self-mastery. In order for you to now then say, okay, I've been mastering myself. Let me go serve. And through that service is where you find that deep sense of fulfillment. And so many men are walking around without a purpose. They're not truly serving. Even the gentlemen who have money, even the gentlemen who have money, you see these guys offering themselves every day. They have perceivably everything. It doesn't matter. We need to be able to walk into deeper self mastery as men. Do the hard work, dig up the wounds. I'm discovering wounds now that I thought were healed. They're not. I've got more work to do. Commit to the process and move into service as a man, whether that's serving your family, your wife, your children, your business, but move yourself through service and use the pain. Don't be a victim, use it. And once you get there, this is how you truly find freedom as a man.
Knock that shit out of the park. Oh man. Love all bits of that. I got goosebumps all in weird places, man. Knock that shit out of the park, brother. That's it. That's it in a nutshell, man. So everybody, you've been blessed with a little bit of time, which is very valuable, of Dudley Edward. Dudley is a coach, mentor, helps driven men who feel stuck break through plateaus. He's the founder of Modern Day Renaissance Man, a global mentorship and brotherhood. And he's a real deal, man. I love you, brother. You're freaking awesome. So where can we get More Dudley. Where can we find more Dudley? What you got coming up next? What's going on?
Indeed, brother. So you can find me on YouTube at Dudley J. Edouard. So that's DUDLEY JEDOUARD. You can find me on Instagram at Dudley_E, and as well as modernrenaissancemen.com. And in terms of what's going
Right
on
on.
next, brother, continuously exposing myself down to the nub, so that I can fortify, rebuild, and grow. And I'm committed to doing this until the day that I die. And I'm committed to leaving a legacy that doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Rather, those who are called to the legacy will get fed and they'll get served. And then by proxy, they'll go out and serve their clients or families or whatever. And that's really all I care about, is just leaving a legacy of something that's truly positive.
Love it, man. And saving the dudes, man, saving the brothers, saving men. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, we love women. We need women. Without women, the world ends because dudes can't have chicks. I don't give a shit what anybody. Dudes can't have babies. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So we need women. We love women. But the truth is, we need men. We need leaders. We need men who step up. And that is not a bad thing, man. That's not toxic. That's not a bad thing. You got to let that bullshit go. And the way we do that is we go see Mr. Dudley Edward and we get involved with modern day Renaissance man, because it's a real deal, man. I love you. I'm so glad you came, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, brother. It's been an absolute honor speaking to you.
Right on. All right, guys, we're out. See you later.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.